Trading tip this week, trading psychology. You know, impacts about 80% of our performance and our decisions. So if you've got that confidence, have you got confidence? Hopefully you have. If you've got confidence, then it's generally because you've had a good run in the way of, producing profits. Confidence-wise, if you've got a lack of confidence, it's usually from underperforming, losing, maybe even revenge trading, or you've become overcautious, you're becoming more nervous about going into those decisions. You're doubting your trading plan. Hopefully you've got one. On the other side of that is this overconfidence. You've got a string of good positive results. It almost makes you feel invincible. And again, just be careful. That can be really dangerous because you go all in on one of your trades because you feel that confident, and the market just waits for you to do that, and then it just gives you a little bit of a reminder that the market's rule, not us. Okay, so technical analysis. So our chart legend, just to go through it as a little reminder in case you're new. Black numbers support resistance levels in the right hand axis. Brown numbers indicate breakouts unless they're part of the pivot points. And claret numbers, they're just horizontal levels where I've sort of either visually identified support and resistance where I expect it to be, or we've got double or triple tops or bottoms. Fibonacci, it's just obviously the base colors there. So again, just sort of keep an eye on them. It's useful even just to take pictures of these sort of things with your phone, just so you've got them fresh for the week ahead. Okay, so we're moving on to stocks to start with, and of course they continue to bounce. They're up about 10% from the lows now. However, this could be a defining week for stocks, with FOMC and NFP coming along. And of course, when we look at it at the moment, when we saw that rally last week, it sort of pushed them up. It's getting back to sort of some interesting levels, well, for me anyway. So I've got resistance, which goes all the way back to April, May of earlier this year. And they were good levels for me because I waited for that other bounce to buy some put options. And if it gets back up there, personally, I'm going to be looking to do the same again. So resistance levels at 34031 and also at 33508. Support at 31876. Just taken that off of some previous resistance more than anything else. 31336 and at 28745, which obviously is a long way away now. But with these markets, who knows? I'm just going to move on to 30-minute. On the 30-minute, we're in that sort of up channel, short-term up channel. And we've had that good bounce since it sort of fell off. How long is it going to stay there? But I've managed to find a resistance level at 33106 and support at 32112. So stocks are sort of almost reacting in a sort of inverse relationship with data at the moment. Because if data comes out really strong, or the expectations are for the Fed to want to put rates up and keep putting them up aggressively, then that's been making the stocks actually come lower, because the expectations are less demand, recessions, etc., etc. So just bear that in mind. And now, when we look at the S&P daily, I've got resistance at 4305 and support at 3823 and 3507. Then moving on, there's the 30-minute. Here I've got resistance at 3958 and support at 3867, 3791 and 3763. So it's going to are any of these levels going to hold this week? You know, you'd like to think so, especially on sort of like the day charts and that. But you know, with FOMC and NFP coming out, we could see a serious move this week. So Nasdaq was sort of lagging a little bit just because obviously the tech stocks have been disappointing. And as a result of that, I've got some resistance levels: 13,604, 12,940, and 11,736. And I've got support at 10,474. On the 30-minute, I've got resistance at 11,625 and support at 11,441 and 11,134. You know, Nasdaq's just suffered a little bit because of the tech stock. So, you know, now earnings are sort of a lot of them are getting out of the way. We can get back and focus on sort of what's really happening in the economy. Moving on to the Russell 2000, just remember these are the smaller mid-cap stocks. So again, they had a bounce. So now we're looking at resistance on the daily at 2033 and 1926, with support at 1795 and 1647. Russell on the 30 minutes game, we've got that slight up channel. Here we've got resistance at 1861 with support at 1806, and you know, support's the same as the daily at 1795 also. Moving on to currencies, so UK budget was delayed. As I keep mentioning, Sunak and Hunt are looking to try and find 50 billion from somewhere. This could include tax hikes, spending cuts, but again, you know, this austerity is likely to push the UK into a recession faster. But looking at the data, we've got resistance on the pound at 120.80 and 116.58, which is not far away from where it closed, and support at 110.65. You know, the pound did recover. It stabilized rather than recover, I would say, at the moment, based on the fact that we've got a new PM. Now, moving on to the 30-minute, I've got resistance at 116.44. I've got support at 115.18, but that's as a breakout. So if it breaks that, I would expect to see it go lower. And then the next support is at 114.61. The Euro daily, I've got resistance at 1.0907 and 1.0396 and 1.0123. So it's got back into sort of positive territory past parity. Let's see if it can stay there. Support at 09709. So moving on to 30-minute. Resistance at just over $1 at 1.0029, support at 0.9985 and also at 0.9964. Again, you know, the dollar's going to move this week. You know, first part of the week, it's just going to be sort of expectations. From Wednesday to Friday, it's going to be on the data and obviously the Fed meeting itself. So moving on to Bitcoin. I've got resistance, which is a breakout resistance. So again, if it breaks on the upside, you know, it's well away from that. But I do like to put these in because you just never know how fast it's going to move when it does go. So that's at 27,330. I've got resistance before that at 24,440 and also at 21,180. With support at 17,560. Bitcoin 30-minute chart. Again here, you know, I've put the pivot points on some of these, and you can see how they're sort of held into those. I mean, look at that. Looking at that S2, where the green line is at 19,970, came down and tested that beautifully, and then it went all the way up to almost test R1. So it had a great sort of, you should really look at the pivot points if you're not used to them. If you don't understand them, reach out to me. I'll try and help you. I'll do courses on them. I like sort of basic explanations anyway. On the 30-minute, I've got resistance at 20,822 and support at 20,080. So I'm sure we can expect them to get broken one way or the other this week. Now, moving on. Here's the Bitcoin Nasdaq daily comparison that I like to do. It is a loose relationship. Let's be honest about it. It's at some at stages the Bitcoin's been more stable than the stocks. The stocks have become more volatile. So we've seen a little bit of a transition there. But just remember, this is a loose correlation, but it's one that is looked at by a lot of institutions, which is why I put it in here. And of course, more of the traditional institutions are in crypto these days. Well, they were. Hopefully, they still are. Okay, moving on to commodities. So here's gold. Again, just a little bit lackluster from gold. It's just sticky around this 1650s. It doesn't really seem to know what to do. So on the daily, I've got resistance at 1692 and support at 1639. On the 30-minute, I've got resistance at 1662 and 1656 with support at 1646 and 1636. So again, you'd expect some of them to get broken this week. Finally, moving on to oil, WTI. So when we look here, got resistance at 96.38 and below that 89.80 with support at 82.85 and also at 78.80. Again, oil is sort of fluctuating around. It's having $3-5 moves in a day. I like to trade it. I tend to trade it more through strategies like calendar spreads, because you can control the volatility more yourself then rather than the market. Okay, and WTI 30-minute resistance 89.80, 88.75 and support at 87.26. So although it was moving around on Friday, it sort of hovered between sort of S1 and the pivot for pretty much the whole day. And again, as I say, if you want some information on pivot points, reach out to me. Okay, so I'm just going to finish up and just point out some of the services that we provide. So, this is just a small part just to help set you up for the week. But then during the week, we provide a daily newsletter, which does include global news, my views, and also fresh chart levels and pivot points each day. We do one-day workshops to help you fill in your gaps in your sort of experience, skill set that you have. We do 1-week courses that can help really take you forward, sort of accelerate your sort of career in trading. And then if you really want that boost, that sort of turbo boost, then if you go into one of our master classes, that can really help you to progress and really accelerate at a fast pace. On top of that, we do trading mentoring. So, if you're already trading but you'd like to improve, we can help you with that. We consult to companies for, hedging for FX, raw material exposure. We also provide trader education, all different levels, and to traders, to exchanges, to brokers, provide content, webinars, etc. So, you know, we're pretty much overall anything to do with trading. You know, it's been my passion for pretty much 50 years now. So, you know, it's just great, isn't it? I mean, it makes you want to get out of bed in the morning for sure. Okay, so if you want to contact us, info@symaxfintech.com with any general inquiries. If you've got anything to do with trading that you'd like to ask me directly, then it's chris.tubby@symax-int.com. I look forward to hearing from you. Have a great week. You know, do your research, do your homework leading up to Wednesday's FOMC and Friday's NFP. And of course, if you haven't got the time to do that, then subscribe to our newsletter and get it off of us instead. But best of luck, and once again, happy Halloween.